about to go live on YouTube. So I would say it's right about time for some Weekend Craic, baby.
Get some.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. So, welcome, boys. Episode 46. Not too shabby, Nige.
No.
Not too shabby, Nige. Yeah.
You don't look that old.
I know. Well, yeah, 46. So, when we hit 50, then I'm going to be worried.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Anyway, let's kick it off, guys. How was the week?
Guys, 40s is the new 30s.
46 is the new 30s. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 46 is the new 36.
Apparently so. Just not for the younger generation, though, because the younger generation can't keep up with us old bullies, dude.
You guys are too quick. Way too quick.
For our age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For now. One day it'll change. Anyway, guys, Lester, what's happening? How was the week? What's happening in the UK? Give us the lowdown.
Yeah. I think I might give myself a rating of 6.
6. Okay. We're back to rating.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Well, I've been on, I thought I'd bring it up because I was a 5 for like 12 months.
Yeah. So what's brought you up to a 6 now?
We can breathe a bit in our lockdown situation.
Well, tell us what's happening with your lockdown situation in the UK.
Well, we can walk past a pub and look at what they're doing in their gardens in preparation for Monday when we are allowed to go and sit in the pub gardens in small groups.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah.
But
What is it? It's a group of 1?
Group of 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
unless you like to drink alone, in which case 1 is acceptable.
I wonder how long that's going to last. Yeah, like after 2 or 3 beers, it's like, yay, my old chums. Even though you don't know the guy.
In that brief respite we had last year when the pubs were open,
Yeah.
and everyone was social, then there was lots of laws that people just stumble over.
Yeah.
Not laws, but best practices. Yeah, come 10, 11 o'clock at night, those are all gone, man. When you've had 16, 20 pints, you're hugging everyone. Oh, it's embarrassing. Yeah, you're holding each other up so you can keep stable and upright, so you can force another beer in them.
Mm-hmm. It's like the music is too loud and he's shouting at you and spitting all over you so that you can hear what he's saying. Yeah.
There's no karaoke allowed. However, people are singing and swaying. So that's all going to happen again on Monday, but in the gardens.
Okay.
So the pubs, only 40% of the country's pubs are reopening on Monday.
Only
because
40%.
Yeah, because the vast majority don't have garden areas. They don't have beer gardens.
Right.
But I have 2 within walking distance that do have gardens. So there we go.
Mm-hmm. So you need to go. We want to see the proverbial selfie, dude. With a beer.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that could be arranged. I mean, it's not hard.
Okay.
I don't have to apply myself too much here.
You have homework for next week.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I'll take 1 for the team.
Yeah, thank you.
Somebody has to do it.
I won't be alone.
So what are the COVID numbers doing in the UK at the moment?
We still have about 2,000-3,000 new cases a day, but the death rates have dropped off. The critical list has seriously dropped down.
How many a day? 2,000 to 3,000
of new cases, positive cases.
Yeah. Okay.
And death rates, it could be like 50 one day, 300 the next. But if I look across Europe, where this third wave of nonsense is happening, Italy's back with, was it 13,000, 14,000 new cases? Was it yesterday? No.
What's South Africa?
Let's have a
Do you
look.
know?
Yeah, you're about this. You got 62 deaths 2 days ago, 1,300 new cases,
How many?
and then 1,300.
So 1,300, which is not bad.
Yeah, if I go back 3 days, it's 756. But
Yeah.
I've stopped really looking at the new cases because it's all relative to how much testing you do.
Mm.
If I look at the
Fair
UK, where you can go and buy self-testing kits in the local pharmacies. Everyone is testing every day. If you work in a school with elderly or, everyone's got these self-testing kits. So there are effectively hundreds of thousands of people are self-testing all the time.
Mm.
So, yeah, the rate of testing is huge. If I look at South Africa a few days ago, in total, there was 10 million tests been done thus far. But look at the UK, it's 132 million.
Mm. Fair enough, yeah.
For a population of 68 million,
Mm.
I think we've got this testing down, man.
Yeah.
So the more you test, the more you find, and that's
South Africa's got the same more or less population as the UK, right?
No, we must.
59 million versus 68.
Yeah, 59 versus 68. It's not a big difference.
Yeah, well, compared to India, which is 1.3.
So are you saying South Africa's 59?
Yeah.
But that's official numbers, not including people that are not, people that are here that don't get counted.
Correct.
Mm.
So
you could put that up to 64 million easy in South Africa.
Oh, I would have thought so.
I reckon.
I'm just looking at Brazil. They've been suffering for some time. They had
90,000.
They got around 90,000 new cases a day, 3,000 to 4,000 deaths a day, and it's been like this for a while. I mean, they do have a population of 213 million, but still, India 131,000 new cases a couple of days ago. That's phenomenal.
That's hectic.
Mm.
Yeah, but this third wave is creeping across Europe. Germany, 24,000 new cases. Poland, 27,000 new cases. Italy, 17,000. UK don't seem to be affected.
Okay, but when you're talking 27 and 24,000, is that over what period?
That's a 24-hour period. Yeah.
Per day.
Per day.
24,000.
Yeah, why you so shocked?
Yes, dude. Stay at home.
The week, when the UK was at its worst, it was like 40,000 in a day.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's hectic. Anyway.
Yeah, but their death rates are still quite low in comparison to those numbers. It's not where it should be. It's still in the hundreds rather than the thousands. The USA seem to be doing something right. I mean, they've got 80,000 new cases a day, and their death rates hovering around 1,000 a day. And that's better from a few months ago when we last brought this up.
Yeah.
So it's interesting times. We are in the vaccine situation where they are starting to change tactics a bit on the vaccines from what I can see. So they want to vaccinate vulnerable children now, but the vaccine seems to have a slim chance of blood clot issues. So it's deemed dangerous. So they're actually looking for a different brand for children.
So as opposed to the AstraZeneca one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But everyone's getting second jabs now. We've had that time lapse, so it's probably more people getting second jabs than people getting first jabs. I haven't seen the stats for a while, but I'm still waiting.
For your turn.
Yeah, I mean, they keep changing the story because they said my age group should have been done by around about now. And now they kind of changed it, not saying specific age groups. They're just saying, well, all adults will be done by this time. And I'm sure they've done that before, and it's now being pushed out a bit. Now they're now saying by July, all adults would have had their at least first vaccine.
Sure.
But I'm sure it's better than last time.
Andrew, if you have to take a stab, when do you think we're going to get our first jab?
Maybe I'll get it before my 50th birthday.
Okay, so you think it's going to happen in a few months' time?
No, bullshit. No, dude, we're talking years. We're not talking months.
Okay, so you think it's going to be longer than a year?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Unless something, I don't know, unless something drastically changes. I mean, unless, I don't know, unless we had connections that could organize us vaccines quicker. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more.
We're going to get our first jab within the next 6 months for sure.
Just order on Amazon.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think it's going to be by some special arrangement, or do you think it's just going to be the normal flow of things?
Look. With us, everything is done by a special arrangement, even the normal flow of things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, I mean,
the question is, which vaccine are you going to go for? Are you going to go for the AstraZeneca one or J&J?
J&J, baby.
J&J.
Yeah. But do you have a choice when you go?
Yeah, we do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know we had a choice.
We have a choice, dude.
So how was your week, Oleg?
I would rate it a solid 7.
Okay.
The reason why I would rate it a solid 7 is because it was a very productive week. I managed to get quite a lot of things done, both work-wise and personally on the personal front as well. So it was really productive week where I was doing quite a lot of DIY work at home, and this DIY work still continues. And next week is most likely going to wrap up.
Okay.
And yours?
Yeah, no, I would. I mean, if we're rating stuff, I would say 7 at least. Yeah, not too bad. It was a short week, so, because we were off on Monday, so that was cool. Yeah,
I was
to complain about
Tuesday, so I only came back on Wednesday, which is most likely the reason why my week was so good.
Yeah, and what did you get up to?
During my holiday?
Yeah,
went for a hike. Basically did a few DIY things around the house, and did some work on master's research, which was really cool. Managed to get quite a bit done, and basically just rested.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'm glad it's a weekend though. Even though it was a 4-day week, it still seemed a bit long.
Jeez, that did.
Yeah.
Hey.
It did, fitting 6 days of work into 4.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So, Lester, give us an update on your Breaking Bad series progress.
No, not a lot of progress.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of progress at all. No, I've got into Sons of Anarchy now. It's kind of taking a back seat.
No. Okay, well, tell us about Sons of Anarchy then. How far are you in Sons of Anarchy?
I think, where have I got to? Probably end of series 2. Beginning of series 3. Yeah, I think I'm on series 3. A few episodes in.
Okay. And you've decided to watch Sons of Anarchy instead of Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Which I would imagine that says something about the two series.
No, I just think I think at the end of this series, I'll probably take a break from Sons of Anarchy and probably go back to Breaking Bad.
So it's like reading 2 books at the same time.
Yeah. Well, no, you can pick up at the end of a series. You can pick up on the next series quite quickly.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I have to admit, the whole Sons of Anarchy thing was my fault because I brought it up.
You did. It's your fault. Yes.
That's what diverted Lester's attention to, Sons of Anarchy. Remember when we were chatting the best TV shows of all times type of thing, and the Breaking Bad came up, and then I said, guys, Sons of Anarchy is
Yeah.
really up there.
Yeah. No, it's a good
Yeah,
call.
absolutely.
Good
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
Good call.
Yes,
Squirrel.
it's like a safe blame. There's no repercussions there. Yes, you're
Yeah.
guilty, but
No,
you can-
yeah. And Oleg, have you had a chance to watch Drive to Survive, or you?
No, not yet. But like, I haven't actually watched anything recently.
Have you watched? So you haven't watched like Sons of Anarchy again, instead of
No.
watching some.
No, I think the only thing that I actually streamed in the last week was most likely some Udemy courses, and that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay. No entertainment.
what have you
and-
been watching?
Me.
Yeah.
So I've watched. I was watching this series called Capitani. It's based in Luxembourg. It's about some teenager that's found dead in the forest, and they're investigating that. I wouldn't say it was the greatest.
It wasn't
Um,
bad. It wasn't
yeah,
bad. I remember watching it. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, but like for me, it's always about the quality of the acting. I just don't. I sometimes these foreign shows, foreign series, the acting's not the greatest. But anyway, it's fine. And then I've watched a documentary, 4-part documentary on this the greatest art heist, art robbery in the US. So I watched
It's
that.
also Netflix.
Yeah, it's also on Netflix. It's just come out on Netflix in the last week. And
I need
then
to check that out.
And then the other thing I've been watching is there was another series called One that I watched on Netflix. It's about where they create this dating app that's based on your DNA,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
it matches you with your perfect match based on your DNA. And when like when these people meet one another, there's this instant connection. Yeah. So yeah, I watched that series, and but I mean, I've been watching that one for quite a while. Like one episode here, one episode there. Like I didn't bang it out like in a week or so.
Was it that good?
Yeah, it was that good
Yeah.
that I could watch it over 6 months. No, I'm
Yeah.
joking. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the greatest. And then I
Definitely.
was also watching a couple of episodes of Spycraft last night, which is also a documentary series on how like different spy craft and hacking and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's what I've been watching. But the next thing I want to watch is I want to try and find that Sky Rojo. I haven't seen it on Netflix yet. I thought it was
No, I
coming
haven't
out
either,
soon.
because they were announcing it was going to. Even the trailers was like it's coming out like next week.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Anyway, I'll check that out. Yeah. Anyway, so I see all Elon Musk's Neuralink sent out a video this week. Elon had bragged about this before, that they were testing on primates, but no one had actually seen any evidence of it.
Yeah.
So old Musk and his company were saying that they'd enabled a monkey to control a computer with its brain. So anyway, they released this video during the week. I've actually got have you seen the video? Anyone
Yeah.
seen the video? Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
Have you?
I think it was amazing.
Okay, well I'm gonna play it. I've got it set up here. So let's
Okay.
try this. Let's see if this works. 1, 2, 3, here we go.
This is Pager. He's a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in
So
each
it's the
side
usual
of his
thing where
brain
we can see
about
the
6
video and
weeks
can't
ago.
hear the sound.
If you look
Oh
carefully,
yeah, I can hear
you
the
can
sound.
see that the fur on his head
Okay.
hasn't quite fully grown.
I love
You
that
He's
the
learned
monkey
to
got
interact with
straight
the
on
computer
to the
for a tasty
rewards.
banana smoothie delivered
Of
through
course,
the
man.
door.
Pavlov's
We
dog
can
thing going
interact
there.
with the Neuralinks.
But you know what's
Simply
fascinating?
an
It's
iPhone.
not this
Just
specific
as you might
game
pair your
because
phone to
in
a
this game, the monkey's basically aiming for the red square, right? It's the second game that it plays with his mind and how well it plays it.
Yeah, we'll
get
we'll get there now.
And arm movements. Neurons
Yeah,
in this region
absolutely.
modulate their
What got
activity
me was
with
like it was
intended
doing this, and I
hand
was going,
movement.
yeah,
For example,
fine.
some might
And then
become
they
more
said,
active when
oh,
he
but the
moves his hand
joystick
up,
wasn't plugged
and
in.
others when he moves it to the right.
Yeah.
By recording from many
okay.
neurons and feeding their
Bloody
activity
hell.
into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Page's intended
Loving the
hand
fake forest
movements
in the
in
background.
real time.
Yeah,
How-
just
how
so
to
that he
make
feels
the
at
monkey
home.
feel
First,
calm.
we calibrate
Yeah, I'm
the
just thinking,
decoder.
is that
By
its natural
recording neural
habitat?
activity, Page
think,
uses the joystick to move a
Northern
cursor to
California
targets presented
woodlands
on the
was its
screen.
national
As he's playing this game,
natural
we are
natural
wirelessly
habitat.
streaming in
Yeah.
There you go.
real
Here's a
time
piece of
firing
wood.
rates from thousands
There
of
we
neurons
go.
to a
The
computer.
computer screens are part of your
Using
natural
these
habitat.
data, we calibrate the decoder by
Busy recording
mathematically
their
modeling the relationship between
brainwaves.
patterns of
Yeah.
neural activity and
So
the
I'm
different
hoping the
joystick
sound is
movements
going
they
out on the
produce.
actual feed.
Check there.
After only a few
They
minutes of
have
calibration,
unplugged the
we
joystick.
can use the output
And it's
from
like,
the
oh,
decoder
yeah.
to move the cursor instead of
Yeah.
the joystick. Page is still
It
moves
doesn't
the
stop
joystick out of
slurping on
habit,
the
but
rewards
as you
there.
can see,
No.
it's unplugged.
Obviously, like
He's controlling
Do you
the
think
cursor
they've doctored it? It's
entirely
like
with decoded neural
straightforward Red
activity.
Bull or vodka Red Bull or something.
Yeah.
Our
It's
goal
supposed to be a banana
is to
smoothie,
enable a
but
person with paralysis
with
to use
some
a
extra
computer
stuff in
or
it.
phone with
Yeah.
their brain
banana
Vodka.
smoothies are good for you.
Because they wouldn't be able to move
I mean,
the
the
joystick,
coat looks
they
good.
would calibrate the decoder
The
by
coat looks good.
imagining
Yeah, he's very well looked after.
Yeah.
one of the
Doesn't seem
things
a
the
bit overweight,
Neuralinks
if
allow
anything.
Pages
I
to
think
This
This
is the one
well,
that
this is
Oleg was
phenomenal.
talking about.
Because if you try and
Home.
play like this,
To control his power,
there's always that
on the
slight
right
delay
side of the
between you
screen,
and the controller,
Page
and
simply
you always miss it.
thinks
But
about
his
moving
his
his
reactions
hand
are
up or down.
fast.
We've removed
I
the
mean,
Oh, he
joystick
lost it
from the
there.
arm.
He missed it there.
Now
Did you
that
see
he's up
that?
to speed,
Yeah, I saw
let's
that, but he
increase
does
the
get better. I
difficulty
mean,
and
look
see
at the
how
speed of
well
this
Pager
now.
can play with
But
the
he's not
neurons.
just if you look at it, he's not just banging the ball back.
Yeah.
He's actually redirecting the ball.
As you can see,
Yeah.
Pager is amazingly good.
You know what
So-
fascinates me?
He's focused,
That
and he's
this
playing
monkey is most
entirely
likely
with
better at it than I am. Now, can you imagine,
It's not magic.
like,
The
next
reason
month they
Neuralink
release a
works
video
is because
of
it's
this
recorded
monkey playing
by
Call of
the
Duty and fragging noobs.
Well, it's possible. I mean, who's to say that this kind of stuff ain't gonna happen, eh? Well, I mean, this is the thing.
Or orange smoothie.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
work for beer.
Yeah, I think I might be sucking on something else. Pina Colada. Singapore Sling. Yeah, so I suppose the way this is going, and I mean, this is what Elon Musk said, is that, the whole idea is, I think their first product that they're going to come out with would be someone that's paralyzed that would then be able to control a cell phone. Which I think would be pretty amazing if you take someone that's a quadriplegic, it's got no movement in their arms, and then having the ability to control a cell phone. I think that'll be a game changer. What are your thoughts? I mean, in your view, what's the ethical thing behind it? Like, at what point do we go too far? Have you ever thought about it?
I think for me, right, and I'm pretty, I would say go as far as possible, like to give, people that living with different disabilities as close to proximity of good life as possible in terms of communication, social interaction, mobility. If they can go as far as restoring people's disability, their natural mobility functions through brain implants, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, what about, say, like, for instance, someone that's got a spinal injury, obviously paraplegic or quadriplegic, some sort of exoskeleton kind of device that they would then be able to control with their...
Go as far as you need to.
Yeah. But, surely there must be a point where... if you think about it, if you saw in that video, they can connect to the chip with a with a mobile app. So already my brain is going, oh shit, what about security and someone hacking into
You could get hacked.
hacking into the chip, firmware update. If you know what I mean? I mean, like, so I suppose, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, my mind starts going places that it shouldn't really. Like all the things that could go wrong.
What if you're bipolar?
Well, maybe
What
this
if you
can
have
help.
to retrain yourself? What if you, because it works on the nervous system, the neurological system.
Yes.
And what if you have some debilitating disease, which actually, or some thing that debilitates your system and actually breaks it? And although this is going to help you, you don't know where this is going to go because it's a complex system. So simple things like what you thought was left is suddenly right. So you move to your left and actually you're moving to your right. So everything goes haywire.
I don't know if that's
possible. Walking on your hands and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's still progress, in terms of like a person that couldn't walk now is walking on their hands. I think it will be amazing.
Look, I'm with you. Let's see where this goes, because if used as with most technology, if used in the right way, it helps mankind. But then there's always going to be those pushing the limits and going too far or using it for the wrong purpose.
Andrew, from your perspective, what is the ethical considerations?
Sorry, say that again.
From your perspective, what are the ethical considerations of this tech?
Well, I suppose in this way, at the moment, the chip is like almost like, call it a unidirectional device. In other words, the brain is sending out signals via this device that then controls something. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I mean, that's ring fenced. It's effectively the human being that's pushing out these commands and whatever. But I think when it has the ability to affect or interact with your brain in the other direction, I think that's when we'll start moving into the sort of ethical kind of potential ethical issues, because then all of a sudden you have the ability to control someone via that chip.
Yeah, I think the device is really bi-directional, because I mean, like for example, say they would need to like update it, and I think, but inherently by design, the device that it's implanted in the monkey's brain is bi-directional, because like as they progress with their research, they would need to update, tweak it, and load the updates on the device. That would be some sort of two-way traffic flow.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we don't know that for sure, but I mean, the thing is, in the situation where this chip is inserted into the part of the brain that has to do with the motor function of the body, if it was bidirectional, the thing that you would be able to do would be be able to control someone's limbs, but in the case of a quadriplegic, they are paralyzed. So there's no danger. There's no danger there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Whereas,
how far do they go? I mean, what if they start introducing the obvious thing is the military, but let's sidestep that. What if they put it into sports? So if your hand-eye coordination gets better, is that now illegal?
Well, I think that's the thing, is like now we're saying that this thing would be used for people that are disabled in some way. I think when you use it for an able person, a person that's not disabled, and it has the ability, like you say, to improve your hand-eye coordination,
concentration, like boost your IQ by like 100 points,
Yeah. So I think, I suppose one's understanding of, okay, let's talk about golf as a sport.
Well, today is National Golf Day, by the way, Golf Appreciation Day. So
let's do it. There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Is golf a sport?
Apparently so.
Yeah. Well, it's a way of ruining a perfectly great hike through the woods.
Or maybe it can initiate a hike through the woods if you hooked your
Yeah, I
board.
mean, you don't. Yeah, you know, with your GPS positioning, well, you don't have to worry about things. You can sync with phones and satellites. It'll give you a better sense of direction and bearing.
Yeah, like your distance
Yeah, but
judgment.
I'm just starting to think
I'm
now.
tempted to
As
say
soon as the
something.
implants,
I don't know whether I should say it.
as soon as there are implants that carry some sort of technology that interacts with your body,
Mm.
that just suggests more and more enhancements, more and more firmware updates. To the point, perhaps, if we go back to improving IQ, maybe we're just going to download knowledge and information. It's there.
I was just thinking about it. Can you imagine, right? You have this chip implant in your brain, and you always wanted to know how to salsa. You basically just purchase an app, unload it. You know, 20 seconds later, you have the skills of the best salsa dancers in the world.
Well, I
It's
mean,
just like
I
the
don't
Matrix
think.
all over again.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, this is the thing. This is where the understanding of how the body works is coming into play. And this is, let me go back to the golf analogy, and we can also talk about the dancing analogy. But the golf analogy is what separates a good golfer from an average golfer. I mean, what are the skills that a good golfer's got that makes him the top of his game versus someone that's 2 or 3 behind him in terms of, let's say, world rankings or whatever?
Mental,
I mean, what's the difference?
Okay, besides the obvious, you've got to be good at it to start with. So good hand-eye coordination. But a lot of golf is muscle memory, because you have got to have a repetitive swing that's
Sure.
fairly the same every
Sure.
time. The other one is concentration, focus.
Yeah,
You
but
can't
where's the
allow that
muscle?
to
Like the
slip.
muscle memory. Let's talk about muscle memory as an example. Where's the muscle memory stored? Is it in your brain or is it in the muscle?
A bit of both.
Yeah, right. So I mean, so you can potentially realize that a trip that can enhance that. How can I say? Improve, refine that hand-eye coordination, and if it's a brain-based thing, I think that the advantages would definitely be there. You know what I mean? I think that, yeah. And then I mean, like, because I mean, that's what I was going to talk about was muscle memory. Like, where's the muscle memory? Because we always talk about when you do these kind of activities, it's about muscle memory. It's like, where does the muscle memory come from? Is it in the
But
brain?
I see this technology progressing further. So it's obviously starting with the brain, but I think we very soon is going to be seeing, you know, a similar type of implants in your muscles, in your legs, in your arms, to basically to synchronize the connectivity between your brain and your different muscle groups.
Well, I would imagine that would be something that they would do for someone that's lost the use of their limbs because of, let's say, a spinal injury. So in
Any
other words,
motor
the
neuron.
connection, yeah. So the connection
Yeah.
between the brain and your hand would now be bridged by the device that's in your brain and the device that's in your arm that sends the impulses to the muscles. Because I mean, the thing is that there are actually two technologies that are converging. One is the one of implanting something in the brain and being able to get the message from the brain to something else. And then there's also the technology where I don't know if you've seen this thing where there was a TED talk on this where the guy puts a device on his arm, right? And then I think they put another device on someone else's arm. And when this guy moves his arm, that guy's arm moves in exactly the same orientation as his.
That's scary.
Something like that. I might have got it wrong. But there was technology basically that was sending impulses to another person's arm from something else that was controlling that person's hand. Open, close, twist the wrist, that kind of thing. So now you can imagine now there are two technologies that are converging. One where you have the ability to send the message from the brain via this device to another device, right? So you can imagine then if you've got that and then you're playing tennis or playing golf or something like that. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
Doubles tennis. But how do you override it?
Guys, I think we're coming closer and closer to like the reality of the Black Mirror.
Yeah. That's why I find those things so
Forgot
scary.
about the Black Mirror.
Yeah, that's why I find those things so scary. I mean, remember there was that Black Mirror episode about where the woman had an implant in her daughter's brain or whatever, and then she could see what her daughter was seeing, and she had a GPS tracker and all that kind of stuff. And
it was more advanced than this because she could actually block things off in terms of what her daughter can see, and so she can PG rate stuff for her daughter. Like her daughter won't be able to see violent acts.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Well, I mean, and I suppose that's the ethical line that I'm talking about. I mean, will it, if the technology is there to be able to provide that kind of functionality, what are the ethics around that?
Who decides the ethics?
Yeah, exactly.
I think what you're going to see is the same sort of development with tech companies as you're seeing in the pharmaceutical companies. So you're going to have a completely legal market for implants of any sort, right? And you're going to have an illegal market for the implants of any sorts.
Yeah. So I don't know. I suppose the black market is probably going to be the most dangerous.
Yeah.
What was that Schwarzenegger movie?
What? Time.
Total Recall. There we go.
Recall.
Oh, talking about movies, Melissa McCarthy has a new movie out. I think you can get it on Netflix, called Thunder Force, where she reconnects with her childhood friend. And her childhood friends invented a formula that gives ordinary people superhero powers. And they become superheroes.
What's the name of this thing?
Thunder Force.
Thunder Force. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that.
This is about the same sort of thing,
Yeah, and I mean that Total Recall thing was it's actually the same thing. Eh? Anyway, we'll watch this space very, very carefully. But I mean,
I wonder.
Question before we wrap up, right? Andrew, would you consider like doing?
I was going to ask this.
Implants? Yeah, would you consider doing implants?
Would you, if it was available for you to use?
Yeah. And a completely
two questions. Would you have an implant? And second, what would you hope the implant would do for you?
Yeah, I don't have a problem having an implant. What I would like it to do for me, jeez, dude. Fucking everything, dude. God mode. I want it, dude. I want it. I want to be connected to the internet.
I don't want to have to carry a phone around with me. I want it inside me.
Exactly. I want everything. I want to be a cyborg. I want everything I want a heads up. I want the full package, dude.
What if you get hacked?
Nah, doesn't matter.
So you could drive your car while you're sleeping in your car.
Well, yes, I could.
Because the technology in cars is going to progress just as fast.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the start.
I mean, can you imagine like sitting here and thinking, oh, I need to go out. Let me start my car from here.
Or do you think this is what Elon Musk had in mind?
Maybe. But I mean, just talking about the ability of these kind of chips to control people. I mean, what are your thoughts on people? I mean, the other day I saw a tweet come through from someone saying that her father had been killed in one of these mass shootings in in America recently. And basically there was a guy that had just walked into a supermarket and just randomly started shooting people. I think he killed 12 or 13 people.
Yeah, I saw that on the news.
I mean, what brings a person to do that kind of thing? I mean, do you think it's a mental kind of thing? Do you think it's something that could be diagnosed and controlled by, let's say, a chip like this?
Well, I would have thought so. If you can control your brainwaves through technology, then yeah. But likewise, if you're a serial killer, then the brainwaves could actually help you contain these urges.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, it just made me think. I mean, I'm bringing these two stories together, but and going back to COVID, we spoke about COVID already. Is that the whole fact that this virus apparently started in China. I mean, I don't think that they've really. I don't know if they're not saying or if they don't know exactly where the origin of the virus was. I mean, we're still hearing stories that it could have been from a food market, or it could have been from a virus research facility in the Wuhan area. But the fact is that it has sparked off some sort of, I mean, they're not calling this overseas, but this is a term that we use in South Africa, which is this xenophobic sort of activity around Asian people. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
When the virus first hit Europe, and I have a Japanese woman who works for me. She lives in the UK, and I was talking to her about things are changing. We're not going to go in the office anymore. But we haven't made any certain plans. You can still go in the office. It hadn't quite hit the UK yet, but it was coming. So I was having this conversation, and she was like, "Do I really need to come in?" Because she's been speaking to her parents back in Japan, and all over the news there were loads of reports from around the world where Asian people were being blamed for the outbreak of this virus, and they were being assaulted and killed, and it wasn't even making the news here. And it was just generic. This is Japanese people getting hit. They're not Chinese, but for the uneducated eye, then it's hard to tell. So just blanket Asian, you look Chinese, or that Asian persuasion, it's just off you go. But it was quite a big thing. So she was quite afraid because her parents are panicking, going, "You're in the city, you shouldn't be going outdoors. You've got to protect yourself. Stay indoors, not from the virus, but from the backlash that's coming."
Yes.
And at that time, I didn't know of any incidents here. It wasn't on the news, but clearly it happened. And it seems to be continuing to happen throughout. Because these things, the news do, when it's a slow news day, that's a bit harsh to say, but every now and then these things do pop into the news feeds. It's not stopping.
Well, this is it.
Do people need an outlet of rage because their lives are on hold and disrupted and being told what to do, and they don't like it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a similar thing happened with, when they had the 9/11 situation.
Yeah.
Is that for years after that, there was this like Islamic sort of phobia, if you want to call it that. And a lot of Islamic people in the US, I'll talk about the US, but I'm sure it's not only limited to that, where these people have been targeted as well. And, it's so funny because, I mean, we talk about xenophobia here in South Africa quite a bit with migrant workers coming from, Malawi and Zimbabwe and those places coming down to South Africa and essentially starting a new life, finding a place to stay, starting a business, spas a shop, even Pakistanis. I mean, not only African migrant workers, but Pakistanis as well.
Yeah.
Where they go and they start a shop and they doing well and, whatever it is. And all of a sudden, the next minute you hear that these guys' shops are getting burnt and they're these xenophobic kind of incidents that are happening, which I think is very sad.
Yeah, it's extremely sad. I mean, like from our perspective, any type of, xenophobia, violent, non-violent one, it's really bad because the situation generally tends to aggravate. It starts like a playing game where you blame a certain population group. It's like with the whole story with the with US shootings. I think in a lot of those shootings over the last month, I think it was the Asian communities that were targeted.
Yes.
Which, terrible. Why? It's like, obviously it has to deal with the fact that the perpetrators were most likely mentally unstable individuals that shouldn't be owning a firearm in the first place.
Sure.
But yeah, it's wrong on many sorts.
Well, I think
it doesn't matter where the virus actually originated from. The fact is, the genie's out of the bottle. It is COVID-19. Can you imagine if it was Ebola? Something like Ebola, hemorrhagic fever, with a fatality rate of 50%.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, it's very difficult to say what's motivated someone to go and do this. Is it a mental instability problem? Is it a situation that they've got themselves into, that they've so got this pent up anger towards a particular group of people, or do they have a general pent up frustration with everyone and they just happen to take it out on a particular group? I don't know. But some of the stats are that, like, not only in the US, but say like in Canada, in Vancouver, hate crimes towards Asian Canadians has risen by more than 700%.
Yeah,
that's quite a stat.
That is insane.
Yeah. So, it's like, yeah. And how do you, is this education about, how do you convince people that they mustn't take their frustrations out on a particular community because in another part of the world, essentially a virus originated from there? But there's also there's some.
Well, what about the South African variant, right? So some countries are now getting hit by I won't just pick out South African variant of COVID, but there was also a UK variant, etc. So what happens if there's a backlash against all Africans?
South Africans?
Well, they can't differentiate. No, if you've got, I don't know, people around the world, it goes back to race again. So if you're in Asia and you come across a black person, you obviously go, well, he's African, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. He may or may not be from Africa these days. But then he's the target straight away. He sticks out. The South African variant. It where does it stop?
Doesn't stop.
Yeah. Anyway, but one of these guys was. He's obviously mentally disturbed because his reason for this whole thing was some sexual urge that he had, and the way for him to deal with his sexual urge was to take out these people so that, he didn't succumb to his urge. How weird is that?
That is insane.
Yeah.
Sorry, so you're saying...
So, this is the thing. So there, on March 16th, there was this shooting that happened at this Asian massage place, right? And 4 people were murdered. And then a second one took place somewhere else, also at a spa. Again, 3 women were shot. Then there was a third one that was at the spa. Yeah, well, exactly. So the guy who was involved, his name is Robert Long, who committed the crimes, was later arrested, and then proceeded to tell the police that he had this sexual addiction, right? And he said that he was having a really bad day and wanted to eliminate the temptation from his sexual addiction.
Okay, so his sexual thing was for Asian women, is what you're saying. Okay.
Apparently, there's this thing called yellow fever, which is a sexual fetish for Asian women.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
That is insane.
Yeah, we won't go down that rabbit hole too much, but maybe Elon Musk can find a way to
Neuralink.
solve all our problems. Yeah.
No,
maybe,
it's
or maybe
interesting.
they can implant them into politicians. You know, like you can't be a politician unless you've got one of these, and it's
Yeah, I
programmed
think
to
it
be
should
not
be
a
Absolutely.
shitbag.
So if you're a stupid politician, at least they can buffer. If they find you on Twitter, they can
Yeah.
auto-correct what you're doing.
I think. Can you imagine the implications of that? Like in South Africa, they put a patch, the anti-corruption patch. The moment you try to steal anything, right, you just get shut down.
Yeah.
It shuts you down.
Yeah, we need the anti-corruption chip,
A safe shutdown
especially developed for South Africa. Oh, that's crazy.
whilst driving.
Yeah, whilst driving. So, Lester, you were telling us that it's is it International Golf Day today?
Yes, it is. April 10th is International Golf Day. Yes, I mean there's a slow day on the international days. I'm not going to get into the food stuff.
Always.
But there's also there's also Safety Pin Day. So, quick question around the room: when was the safety pin invented?
I don't know, 1600s?
No, I think
1849.
1849.
The inventor of the safety pin owed a friend $15 and decided to invent something new in order to earn the money to repay him. So he invented the safety pin. It is a really simple invention.
Yes.
And the whole thing was to celebrate the safety pin day is not just about celebrating the use of safety pins. Please don't go and prick yourself.
Don't be a prick.
But it's about being innovative. Why not take inspiration from Walter Hunt, the inventor, and try and come up with your own clever invention? There we go.
Well done.
Well done, Walter.
Well done, Walter.
Well done, Walter. Yeah, bravo. But so on this, I thought, what happened? You know, it's a slow day on national days, and I thought, well, yesterday there was a death in the royal family.
Yes.
Prince Philip died,
Yes.
and there's a lot of commemoration of that going on. So I thought, well, let's look back on what happened on this day in history. And it's interesting that, there's been some violence in Belfast again overnight. This seems to come up every now and then, which harks back to the Northern Irish and the IRA challenges from yesteryear. And it was on this day that in 1998 that there's a Northern Ireland historic peace deal was signed, but it was still, the IRA kind of stopped their nonsense to a degree. But it's still going on. 2001, Netherlands legalized mercy killings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Here's a topic to talk about.
There is a topic to talk about. And then on other news, this is the day that the Beatles broke up, when Paul McCarthy left the band in 1970.
It's actually a sad day. Like, overall, sad day.
Yeah. And there's also a massive volcano going off at the moment. But on this day in 1815, strangely enough, Mount Tambora explodes into one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded history. 71,000 people were killed, and the explosion was heard 2,000 kilometers away.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yes, imagine being close to that, let alone 2,000 k's away. Hey?
Yeah.
That's hectic.
1815.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for that interesting information.
I only brought that last one up because there was a volcano eruption.
Yes.
Sparking a mass evacuation during COVID times in the Caribbean.
It will still blow eventually.
Say again?
It will still blow eventually.
Yeah. I mean, we can get onto topics of volcanoes. There is a super volcano category.
Yeah.
So there's a volcano that connects to a volcano, which creates an overall massive super volcano that could go off and.
So Yellowstone is a super volcano.
There's one, but the other one I came across when I was there a few years ago was Napoli. where is it? Mount Vesuvius is, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, but actually that's the small one. The super volcano is under the city.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I said a ticking time bomb.
TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about ticking time bombs, and I'm starting to ramble now. There's a shipwreck in the mouth of the Thames River from the Second World War. There was a ship that was bringing munitions from the US into London. And while I was waiting to get into London, it hit a sandbank and sank in the mouth of the Thames, which flows through the centre of London.
Ooh. Okay.
It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
With all the
And
munitions.
with most of the munitions. Many Navy divers have been down there to try and sort and stabilize the situation, but they can't. And they've worked out this is, and I'll find the ship's name, but it's got a ton of stuff in there.
Ooh.
If it goes off, it's likely to cause a tidal wave, a tsunami.
Tsunami.
That will flood London.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is scary.
But I mean, is that
TikTok.
not a security? I mean, geez, I mean, where's James Bond when these things are happening?
Well, he's never in the UK, so he'll be safe.
Yeah.
But like, how do you diffuse the situation? Like, the only way to diffuse this situation would be to like refloat the ship safely, without hopefully detonating anything. But
Well,
even
I mean, how much is it rusted? I mean, you said it was there since the Second World War.
yeah,
I mean,
I'll find it.
it's
hang on.
not.
is it still intact?
45.
It's on a sandbank. It's slightly broken up.
Oh, lovely. Oh well. Let's. I didn't even know that, but I think we'll wait with.
Well, I think it's kind of kept. Oh, there we go. SS Richard Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
SS Richard Montgomery is an American Liberty ship built during the World War II. She was. Hold on.
So it was an American ship.
Yeah, it was. This was its first voyage as well. It kind of went from Florida, where it was built, to somewhere in America. I think and then was filled up and then came to London.
Oh wow.
And that was it. Yeah, it was constructed in 1943, launched in 3 months later, and then within a year it was it was gone again. Laid down 1943. No. All right. Hang on, I'll find the stats for you in a second. But it's a closely, it's not really advertised because it's going to scare the crap out of people.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first. Don't go near there. Don't touch it.
Okay, according to the last survey in 2008, the wreck is at a depth of 15 meters, so you can still see its mast sticking out the water.
Mm-hmm.
50 meters or 15.
15, 1-5, yeah.
Okay, so that's diveable.
Yeah, at all states of the tide, the 3 masts are visible above the water. There's a large quantity of unexploded ordnance. It's not giving me the details.
For obvious reasons.
In 1973, she became the first wreck designated as dangerous under Section 2 of the Protection of Wrecks Act. There's an exclusion zone around her, which is monitored visually and by radar, and which is right in the entrance of a major shipping entrance for large tankers and things. So
I mean,
don't know.
So what are you saying? You're saying that potentially a ship could go off course?
Well, yes, but it's unlikely. The sandbanks are quite well. The estuary itself is well maintained.
Okay.
So it's unlikely that someone's going to run into it, but you might cross the exclusion zone. All right. According to a survey in 2000 by Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, the wreck still held munitions containing approximately 1.4 thousand tons of TNT high explosive.
TNT.
1,400 tons of TNT.
Yes. Woohoo! You gotta light that up on New Year's Eve.
There's 286 high explosive bombs, each weighing 910 kilos.
Ooh. Ooh.
Lester, when that
And
goes
other
up,
things.
you know, when that goes up, that will make a Beirut, you know, the
Yeah.
explosion, Beirut, that ammonium nitrate, that pops up.
I think he's getting a call.
He's got a call.
Okay, we lost Oleg. He's back.
I'm back.
Yeah, you went all like a dodgy TV screen.
Yeah.
Like censored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we up for an hour.
I'm off to go and celebrate National Golf Day.
Okay.
Are you gonna have a round of golf?
Yes. And hopefully it doesn't snow.
Oh, well done. What's the weather like?
It's
Cold.
British.
It's British. Okay, our weather's African.
I'm actually having a nice day. I'm gonna go for a walk just now.
Yeah. I went for a bike ride this morning.
What was it?
Shot through to Pretoria. Went had breakfast there. Impromptu, last minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've enjoyed the weather very nicely, very kindly. The weather was kind to me, to us. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
So
cool.
winter hasn't quite kicked in yet.
No.
Yeah.
So we're still
supposed to
having
be in
good
spring
days.
now.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we're still lucky. Yeah.
I think in about a month's time it's gonna get colder. It's gonna get much colder.
Yeah.
But we should still plan a bike ride on some stage over the next week or two. Before it gets cold. Because I know you'd love to go to the motorcycle museum in Denaresville.
Dude. We'll go on the 1st of July, like we did the last time.
Yeah.
What's a good thing you don't smoke anymore, because then we don't have to stop on the side of the road and defrost.
No.
But do you not have gloves on your handlebars?
Fuck, dude.
Oh, they don't really help at -5.
They use them in the UK all the time. You guys are just southern softies.
Yeah.
No, we just riding with summer gloves in winter. Airflow gloves.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to do that. I'll have to edit that one out.
I didn't see that.
You can go watch it on the Read broadcast. Anyway, guys.
Same time next week.
Yeah, same time next week, man. I forgot to record some stuff. There's always got to be some problem.